Have you ever sat in a dim room, maybe during a power outage, and watched shadows move along the wall? At first, they seem simple, harmless, just shapes dancing in silence. But then something strange happens. Your mind begins to interpret them. A flicker becomes a person, a blur becomes an object, a shadow becomes something real. And in that quiet moment, a question begins to form. What if what you're seeing isn't actually there? What if it's only a projection? Now let me ask you something even simpler. How do you know that anything you see right now is real? Not just shadows on a wall, but your phone, your room, your own hands. You might say, because I can touch them. But touch is just another sensation, another signal. So how do you know that what you experience is the thing itself, and not just a shadow of something deeper? This is not a new question. It's an ancient one. Thousands of years ago, a philosopher imagined a very unusual situation. He imagined people who had been trapped in a cave since birth. They were chained in such a way that they could only look forward, never turning their heads. Behind them there was a fire, and between the fire and the prisoners, objects passed by. These objects cast shadows on the wall in front of them, and because the prisoners had never seen anything else, they believed those shadows were reality. Not symbols, not projections, reality itself. They gave names to the shadows. They formed beliefs about them. They built an entire understanding of existence based only on flickering silhouettes. Now pause for a moment, because this is where it becomes uncomfortable. What if we are those prisoners, not physically chained, but perceptually limited? What if everything we see, hear, and feel is just a shadow on the wall of something far more complex? You might resist that idea. It feels extreme, almost unsettling. But consider this. Your eyes don't actually see the world. They detect light. Tiny particles, photons, bounce off objects and enter your eyes. These signals are converted into electrical impulses sent to your brain and reconstructed into an image. So what you experience as reality is actually a simulation created inside your mind, a carefully assembled picture, a shadow. And it gets even stranger, because your brain doesn't just passively receive information, it interprets it. It fills in gaps, it predicts patterns, it edits what you see without asking you. There are moments when two people look at the same thing and see completely different realities. So which one is true, or are both just interpretations of something neither can fully grasp? Imagine this. You're watching a movie on a screen. You see characters, landscapes, emotions. You laugh. You feel tension. You might even cry. But deep down, you know something important. You are not seeing real people. You are seeing patterns of light. Pixels, shadows. Now ask yourself, how is that different from what your brain is doing right now? Because the world you experience isn't the world itself. It's your brain's best guess, a projection, a reconstruction, a shadow on the wall, and yet it feels completely real. That's the fascinating part. The illusion is so convincing that you never question it, until you do. Now let's go a little deeper. If what we perceive is only a shadow, then what is casting it? What is the real object behind the projection? Physics gives us a strange answer. At the smallest scales, reality doesn't behave like solid objects at all. It behaves like something far more abstract. Particles are not really particles. They don't have definite positions until they are observed. They exist as possibilities, spread out like a wave. Only when measured do they appear in one place. It's as if reality itself doesn't fully exist until it is observed, which raises a disturbing question. Are we discovering reality, or are we helping create it? And if our observations shape what becomes real, then what exactly is truth? Now think back to the cave. The prisoners believed the shadows were everything, but imagine one of them is suddenly freed. At first it would be painful. The fire behind him would be blinding. The real objects would look confusing, unfamiliar, almost unreal. He might even resist it, because the truth doesn't always feel comfortable. It can feel like losing your entire understanding of the world. But eventually, he begins to see. And then, something even more extraordinary happens. He leaves the cave, and for the first time, he sees the sun. Not a shadow, not a reflection, but the source itself. Now imagine trying to explain that to the others still inside. What would you say? How do you describe something that they have no reference for? How do you convince someone that their entire reality is only a projection? They might laugh, they might reject you, they might even think you've lost your mind, because to them, the shadows are real, and anything beyond them sounds impossible. Now here's where this ancient idea meets modern thought, because today we have something the prisoners didn't. We have science. And strangely enough, the deeper science goes, the more it seems to echo that same idea, that what we experience is not the full story. Take color, for example. You see red, blue, green. It feels like those colors exist out there in the world, but they don't. Color is not a property of objects. It's a creation of your brain. Different wavelengths of light hit your eyes, and your brain translates them into colors. So the redness of a rose isn't in the rose, it's in you. The same goes for sound. There are no sounds in the world, only vibrations. Your ears convert those vibrations into electrical signals, and your brain turns them into music, voices, noise. So what you experience is not reality itself, it's your brain's interpretation of signals, a shadow. And once you see this, something begins to shift, because you realize you have never experienced reality directly, only a version of it, a filtered, constructed, interpreted version. Now here's a question that might feel a little unsettling. If everything you perceive is a constructed experience, then where are you in all of this? Are you the observer, or are you part of the projection too? Because your sense of self, your identity, your thoughts, they are also processes in the brain, patterns of activity, signals interacting. So the you that feels so solid might also be part of the same illusion. Not fake, but not fundamental either. A shadow observing shadows. And this is where things become truly fascinating. Because if we are inside this cave of perception, then the goal is not just to observe the shadows, but to understand that they are shadows. To look beyond them. To ask, what is casting this? What lies behind what I see? Now you might wonder, is it even possible to escape this cave? Or are we permanently trapped inside our own perceptions? Science suggests something interesting. While we may never fully step outside our perception, we can refine it. We can build tools, telescopes that reveal distant galaxies, microscopes that uncover hidden structures, mathematics that describes patterns we cannot directly see. Each of these is like turning your head slightly in the cave, getting a glimpse of something beyond the shadows. But even then, we are still interpreting, still translating, still working with representations, never the thing itself. And yet, there's something beautiful about that, because it means reality is deeper than it appears, richer, more mysterious, like a story that unfolds the more you question it. Now let's return to that simple image, a shadow on a wall. At first it looks flat, simple, limited, but behind it there is depth, movement, structure, a hidden world that gives rise to what you see. And maybe, just maybe, the entire universe you experience is like that shadow, a surface-level projection of something far more profound, something we are only beginning to glimpse. And if that's true, then every moment of your life, every sight, every sound, every feeling is not just reality. It's a clue, a hint, a shadow pointing towards something deeper. So the next time you look at your surroundings, don't just see them as objects, see them as questions, as mysteries, as shadows dancing on the wall of a much greater truth. And then ask yourself, if this is only the shadow, what is the light behind it? And are we brave enough to turn around and look? And if you really try to imagine turning around, truly turning away from the wall of shadows, something inside you hesitates, because it's not just a physical movement, it's a transformation of understanding. It means letting go of what feels obvious. It means questioning what has always seemed certain, and that's not easy. Think about it, your entire life has been built on what you see, hear, and feel. Every memory, every belief, every decision, rooted in this experience you call reality. So what happens if that foundation is not as solid as it seems? Would everything collapse? Or would something deeper finally reveal itself? Let's move slowly here, because this is where things begin to shift, in a subtle but profound way. Imagine again that freed prisoner stepping out of the cave. At first the light hurts. It overwhelms him. But after some time his eyes adjust. He begins to see shapes not as shadows but as objects, then reflections. Then finally the source of light itself. Now here's the part that often gets overlooked. The journey doesn't end when he sees the outside world. because now he faces a new question: which reality is more real? The shadows he once knew so intimately, or this strange, overwhelming world that replaced them? At first, the shadows might feel more real, more familiar, more meaningful, and that tells us something important. Reality is not just about what exists, it's about what we are able to understand, what we are able to perceive, what we are able to accept. So even if there is a deeper layer beyond what we experience, we might not recognize it as real, even if we're looking straight at it. Now let's bring this back to you. Right now, as you sit here watching this, everything feels stable, your surroundings seem consistent, the world appears solid, continuous, predictable, but beneath that calm surface, something very strange is happening. At the most fundamental level, the universe is not made of solid things, it's made of patterns, relationships, structures that don't quite fit into our everyday language. And here's the unsettling part. Those structures don't resemble the world you see, not even slightly. There is no color there, no sound, no texture, no familiar objects, just abstract relationships described by mathematics. It's as if the real world, the deeper layer, is completely invisible to your direct experience, and what you see instead is a kind of translation, a simplified version, a shadow. Now pause and really feel that, because it means that everything you've ever experienced is not the thing itself, but a representation of something far more abstract, like a map that helps you navigate, but is not the territory. And maps can be useful, they can be incredibly accurate, but they are never complete. They leave things out, they simplify, they distort, and yet we rely on them completely. Your brain is constantly building this map, not just of the external world, but of you, your identity, your memories, your sense of time. And here's where the mystery deepens even further, because time itself might also be part of the shadow. We experience time as a flowing river, past, present, future, a continuous movement forward. But at a deeper level, some theories suggest that time does not flow at all, that everything exists together, like a vast landscape, and what we call the present moment is just where our awareness happens to be focused, like a beam of light, scanning across a frozen picture. If that's true, then your sense of movement through time is not fundamental. It's part of the experience, part of the projection, another shadow. Now let that sink in, because it changes something very personal. It means that your memories of the past and your expectations of the future are not separate from the present in the way they seem. They are all part of a deeper structure that your mind is navigating, but only in one direction. So now the question becomes, if time, color, sound, and even identity are part of the shadow, what remains? What is left when you strip all of that away? Is there something truly fundamental, something that is not just a projection, or is reality at its core something we can never fully grasp? Now here's where things become almost poetic, because the deeper we look, the less the universe resembles a machine, and the more it begins to resemble a mystery, not a mystery because it's hidden, but because it might not be fully accessible to the kind of perception we have. It's like trying to understand a three-dimensional object while being confined to two dimensions. You can see slices of it, shadows of it, projections of it, but never the whole thing at once. And yet, those shadows are not meaningless. They are clues. They carry information about the deeper structure. They hint at something beyond themselves. So even though we may be in the cave, we are not completely blind. We can study the shadows, we can notice patterns, we can ask better questions. And sometimes, those questions lead us closer to the source, but never all the way. And maybe that's the point. Maybe reality is not something to be fully captured, but something to be continuously explored. Something that reveals itself layer by layer, each answer leading to a deeper question. Now imagine this. What if the cave is not a prison, but a starting point? What if the shadows are not a deception, but a language, a way for a deeper reality to communicate with us in a form we can understand? Because if we were exposed directly to the full complexity of reality, it might not make sense to us at all. It might be too vast, too abstract, too far removed from our way of thinking. So instead, we see shadows, simplified patterns, a version of reality that we can interact with, and within that version, we build meaning, we create science, we ask questions, we search for truth. not because we already have it, but because we feel that something lies beyond what we see, something worth discovering. Now here's the final thought I want to leave you with, and it's not an answer, it's a question. If everything you experience is a shadow of something deeper, then what does it mean to understand reality? Is it to see the shadow more clearly, to refine the map, to build better models? Or is it to realize that the shadow itself is not the destination, but a doorway, a hint that points beyond itself? Because maybe the goal is not to escape the cave completely, but to become aware that you are in it, to see the shadows for what they are, without losing the ability to learn from them, to live within the projection, while never forgetting that it is a projection. And if you can do that, then something subtle changes. The world doesn't become less real, it becomes more mysterious, more beautiful, more profound, because every ordinary moment, every object, every sound, every experience is no longer just what it seems. It becomes a surface, behind which something deeper is quietly waiting, something you may never fully reach, but can endlessly explore. So the next time you look at the world around you, ask yourself gently, am I seeing reality, or am I watching shadows dance on the wall? And if these are only shadows, then what kind of reality must exist to cast something this intricate? And will we ever truly turn around and see it?